Hello students, welcome to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir, a temple for learning. In previous class, you learnt about a wonderful phylum, that is Platyhelminthes. What are the features you learnt? That is body form, level of organization and fertilization, development and so on. And today's class I am going to teach you the continuity of this phylum Platyhelminthes. Take a look here students. The next continuity of this Platyhelminthes, that is a feature, is digestive tract. Digestive tract in many Platyhelminthes, such as the planaria, you can take an example. What is that? You can observe there is a single opening, that is to the outside of the body. So that serves as a both mouth and as well as anus. That's why it shows incomplete digestive system. Digestive tract is absent in tapeworm. This is a very important point, student. Okay. For example, you can see the planaria. Okay. There is only one opening here, that is act as a mouth and as well as anus. Here this opening itself act as a ingestion of the food and elimination of waste material. So the next characteristic feature of Platyhelminthes is a regeneration. What is the meaning of regeneration, student? An organism to replace its lost or damaged parts or ability to develop complete or normal individual form a part of the body. For suppose you can take an example of, I am giving to you a planaria here. Okay, the planaria here. The planaria, actually what is that? It is cut into a transverse. Okay, the cut is made here, the transverse, and the body part is broke down into three pieces. So here each piece or each body parts is capable of developing into an individual. You can see this is one planaria, another planaria, and this is another planaria. So what do you understand in regeneration? A regeneration means if any division is to be carried out either transverse or longitudinal way, that differentiated into pieces. So each body pieces is capable of developed into a new individual organism. That property we can observe in the regeneration property. So some platforms shows a tremendous power of regeneration. A tremendous. Okay, it is a continuity regeneration we can observe now here. So planaria also shows the regeneration power. I am already giving to the example here. And what are the other examples? Tinea, a tapeworm, fasciola, liver fluke, also shows a regeneration property. Next, the other feature is about parasitic adaptations. Generally, parasitic adaptation, we discussed about the first one is hooks. In previous class, we discussed about hooks. What we discussed about is that it is an adhesive structure. Okay. What is the purpose of this one is? It is a helps the worm to attach the internal body layer of the host. For suppose generally the parasitic adaptation, many of the Platyhelminthes, okay, having a parasitic form. You can take an example of liver fluke and tinea is a common example for parasitic form. Once this parasitic form will enter into the host, either animal or human beings, okay, so that will attached with the help of hooks. So you can see example here, a Taenia solium, it's known as a tapeworm. Now you can see students with the diagram here, a Taenia solium, it is a representation of front and top view. This is about the front and this is about the top view. A top view. This is about the front view. Fine. So you can see where the hooks you can observe now. You can see this is hooks. The red color part you can see this is hooks. Okay. So the hooks is an adhesive structure. It is attaches to the internal body of the layer of host. This is about the for attachment only. Hooks is designing for attachment. Fine. So next another one is suckers. Suckers also adhesive and as well as ingestion of food. It is required for attachment and as well as ingestion of the food. Helps in the sucking of food from the body of host. Generally you can see once it is the Taenia solium, for example, it will enter into the host like an animal or human beings. So this Taenia solium is with the help of the suckers, it will obtain the nutrition from the host body cells. Fine. The common example of this one is Taenia solium. Again here tapeworm, and Fasciola hepatica, it is known as the liver fluke. Now this class I am going to teach you that is a life cycle of liver fluke. Okay, so that is a Fasciola hepatica. Fine student. So you can see where in this diagram where we find that suckers. You can see this is about the suckers. This is one sucker and this is another one. This is here also suckers. Okay, this is also suckers and this is a small this one. So these are all round circled part presents as suckers. So what is the function of suckers? It is responsible for sucking the food from the body of host. Fine. So next slide is talking about continuation of like parasitic forms only. In the parasitic forms, two things we discussed to students. What is the first one? First one is the suckers we discussed. Another one is the hooks also we discussed now. And another parasitic form, you can see there is a direct absorption of the food through the body surface. For example, you can see this is about the planaria. You can take an example. The body surface is there now. Okay, this is a body surface. This body surface is actually what is that? Is capable of absorbing the nutrients like and calcium or something. Nutrients we can absorb now. Nutrients. So this is about the body surface of the planaria. It is absorbs the so many nutrients. Okay, able to absorb the nutrient through the body surface from the host. And another one, as you can see student, there is a thick tegment. Okay, thick tegment is actually, it is generally found in the parasitic form only. Parasitic worms. What is the purpose of this students? What is this purpose of this layer? Thick tegment layer, you can see this is about the, I already told you, no, I already informed you, I already shown you, there is a diagram of what is that parenchyma, a tissue. Okay, above the parenchyma there is a thick tegment, it is present now. This thick tegment, what is that? It is covers the glycolyx layer now. So it will protect the, what is that? It will protect the parasitic worms from the digestive juices of host. Digestive juices of host. Actually, host is nothing but animals or human beings. No. Generally, you can see, for example, not only digestive juice or body fluids of the host or digestive juices of the host, it is a product from this thick tegment. So thick tegment is a protective layer. It will protect the parasitic worms, okay, from the digestive juices of host. Okay, so this is a diagrammatic representation, student. And the next I'm going to teach you, that is a liver fasciola. Okay, fasciola is also known as liver fluke. Okay, liver fluke. And you can see, students, liver fluke or fasciola, it is a hermaphrodite. What do you again, a hermaphrodite? Organism having both male organ and female organ, hermaphrodite. There is a cross fertilization. Cross fertilization means here the male and female is to be reversed to each other. They are exchange their genetic materials. Like ova is exchanged by another organism, and sperm is to be, this is a, for example, you can see my hand is to be, this is a best example for the cross fertilization only now. Okay, so this is a one organism, this is another organism, this is a both are exchanges to be going on. This is a best example for cross fertilization now. Okay, next, here another important point is that it is a very important point. Digenetic endoparasite. Liver fluke is considered as digenetic endoparasite. Endoparasite means the parasite itself, it is present inside of the host body. That's why we call it as endoparasite. Fine. So its life cycle is to be complete the two host. The life cycle is to be complete in the two host. What are the two hosts here? Sheep or goat. Here you can see the sheep and the goat, and a sheep is commenting you. You can see this is a funny sheep. Okay, right? So this is a goat, no? And another one is the invertebrate host. Invertebrate host, nothing but you can see like Limnaea is a great pond soil. You can take an example. So see, student, one more talking about this is that how many hosts we know. There are, first host is called the primary host, second one is called the secondary host. Here is that primary host is nothing but sheep and goat, and secondary host example of this one is that here is Limnaea. It is also known as great pond sail. Fine. So this is about the Fasciola hepatica. Okay, Fasciola, it is a full name is called as Fasciola hepatica. Fasciola hepatica is known for the liver fluke. Fine. So this is a main points about the Fasciola hepatica. These are only introduction points only, student. Fine. So the next, another one is, we are talking about the liver fluke external structure. External structure means, for example, what is the body, what is the mouth, what is the excretory pore, and what is the genital pore. Okay, these are the things. So you can carefully observe this diagram, students. Okay, there is a this is an anterior part. Okay, this is about the anterior part, and this is about the posterior part. Posterior part, anterior part and posterior part. In anterior part, there is a conical surface projection. You can see conical like structure we can observe now. There is the first one is called the, what is that? Mouth is present now. So the mouth is surrounded by, another one is that oral sucker is present. Below that genital pore is present, and ventral sucker is present. Okay, and the last in the posterior part is that excretory pore is present here. Now you can see, student, the anterior end of the body, oral sucker is present, enclose the mouth. Oral sucker enclosing the mouth. You can see this is a oral sucker which encloses the mouth. And the ventral sucker, next one is, this one is a ventral sucker. It is also called as acetabulum, which is a place in the ventrally. Ventrally means here is, I told already, For example, I am taking an example here. This is my ventral surface, and the opposite to surface is represented dorsal surface now. So here is a ventrally, there is a ventral sucker is present here now. Fine. So ventral sucker, or also called estrobilum, which is placed ventrally. Okay. Next another part we are going to explain this succus. I told you we have it. What is the function of succus? We already discussed, that is that it is a helps in the taking of the food. And there is a 3 permanent apertures on the body. What are they? First one is a mouth, another one is that a common genital pore, another one is excretory pore. So mouth, genital pore and excretory pore, these are the 3 permanent apertures on the fasciola hepatica parts. Next, what is the function of mouth, student? I told you already, the fasciola hepatica depends on the, what is that? Host organism. So generally this mouth which will feeds on bile. Okay, bile duct, and the act on the bile duct in the bile juice and the blood. It is also feeds the blood and the lymph and cell debris of the host organism. Here host organism we can say an example of either animal or human being. And another important is, can see indigestible food material or matter ejected through mouth or diffused into excretory system. So it is a, I told you already, mouth is itself, it is act as a, what is that, anus and as well as mouth. It is a single opening only now. Sometimes that waste material is to be ejected out through mouth, or some material is, the waste material is to be ejected through the, what is that, diffused into the excretory system. Fine. Now one more important point, student, coming to the very very important point. What is the respiration in the fasciola hepatica? It is an anaerobic respiration. That means it is occurs in the absence of oxygen. Respiration is an anaerobic respiration. It is occurs in the absence of oxygen. Fine. So this is about the common features of a fasciola hepatica. Next, students, this is a very very important information about like life's history of fasciola hepatica, or life history of fasciola. Okay, here a single liver fluke, also called a fasciola hepatica, will produce how many number of eggs in a 11 years? That is approximately 2 lakhs eggs in about 11 years now. In about 11 years. In about 11 years. So this is a very important point, student, for the NEET point of view. A single liver fluke can produce a 2 lakhs egg in about 11 years. Fine. Next, for example, there is each fertilized egg having a specialized cells is called yolk cells. This yolk cells is a provide yolk formation and also provide shell material formation. What again here? What is the here? What is this point is talking about? A fertilized egg having the specialized cells is called yolk cells. That yolk cells is a provide yolk formation and as well as a shell material formation. And coming to the point, student, this is a, there are so many, this diagram is indicating about the X of a fasciola hepatica. Fasciola hepatica. Fasciola hepatica. This type of X we can observe under electronic microscope. Fine. So next, one more point. This is about the encapsulated embryo. They don't have any embryo here now. Okay. Next, other part you can see. This is the only very 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 important point, student. You can see very carefully in this diagram. The first one you can see, student. The first one. This is about the first one. Okay. The first one you can see, student. Here unembryonated eggs. That means fasciola hepatica is there. No, this fasciola hepatica is don't have any embryo. That's why we call it as the unembryonated eggs, or passes through the feces. What feces it is? Either domestic animals, ruminants. You can see ruminants are the typical definite host. It is here cow and sheep and even though human being. So all this fecal matter will be reached in a particular place. Okay, so those unembryonated eggs is interact with the fecal matter of human being or ruminants. So this is a association of the embryo. This is a unembryonated eggs is to be associated with the fecal matter of ruminants or human being. Fine, that is the first one. Next, this eggs become embryonated after fusing of the fecal matter. It is to migrate into water. Once it is a migrate into the water, the second one you can see, once it is a migrate in the water, those embryo become embryonated. Initially it is not embryonated, it is become embryonated in the water. But here you can maintain the moisture content is around 60%, and the temperature is requiring here, the suitable temperature rate is 22 to 25 degrees C temperature. This is a very important point, student. So generally unembryonated eggs is associated with the fecal matter, and it is will migrate to the eggs in the water. The eggs become the embryonated in the water, and in this case the suitable temperature is around 22 to 25 degrees C and the moisture content around 60%. Fine. Next, another one you can see, this embryonated in the water, what will happen? They will develop into, what is that? There is a larval stage. The first larval stage is called as the Meracidia. You can see Meracidia. From this eggs, the Meracidia will be hatched from this eggs. It seeks out from the snail intermediate host. Now I can see this Meracidia will interact to the snail, will move to the snail only. You can see the Meracidia penetrate the snail as an intermediate host. This is about the Meracidia. This is a snail only. No, Meracidia, it is a first larval form in the Fasciola hepatica. This Meracidia first will enter into the secondary host. Secondary host, what we discussed in the previous class, that is a snail only. Now once entered into this case, Meracidia will develop, what is that, developed into sporocyst larva. This sporocyst larva, it is taking the food material from the snail and obtain the nutrition from the snail and developed into, what is that, 2 to 8 radial larval form. What is that? You can see, students. Up to now you can see second step. From the second thing I'll explain to you. The eggs become the embryonated in the water and developed into the first larval form, that is called Meracidia. Once this Meracidia larval form will develop, this Meracidia will enter into the host. That host is called the secondary host here, nothing but snail. Once entered the Meracidia entered into the snail, developed into another second form of the larval form, that is called, what is that, sporocyst form. Sporocyst, what is that? It will obtain the nutrition from the host. Okay, then finally it is divided into another larval form, that is a third larval form, that is radii. How many larval form it is to be developed in the snail? That is nearly 2 to 8 radii larval form we will see in the snail. Next, further radii larval, it will again differentiated into Cercariae larva. Radii larva is a further differentiated into Cercariae larva. Cercariae larva having, what is that? A tail-like structure. You can see the diagrammatic representation. This Cercariae larva, it is coming out of from the what is the radial larva, and here there is a maintaining the temperature, it is 9 to 22 degrees C. Next, this Cercaria larva, it is a free swimming larva. It is insists on the aquatic vegetation. That means it is a passes to the grass. Okay, so now what happened it is that the animals or human beings are taking the grass as a food material. So this is Cercarian larva will be passes on to the grass and differentiated into what is that? That is Metacercarian larva found on the vegetation. That is to be ingested by definite host, that is such as ruminants or human being. This Metacercarian larva, what is that? It is immature flukes insist in the duodenum in case of human being, penetrate in the intestinal wall, migrate through liver, parenchyma to biliary duct, and finally developed into what is that? Fasciola hepatica, Fasciola gangetica. It is an adult fluke in the hepatic biliary duct we can observe. Finally, we will show the what is that diseases, liver fluke diseases. The common symptoms of about the liver fluke diseases, it is like abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting. These are the common symptoms we can, and sometimes we can also observe the weight loss we can observe now. Okay students, so this is about the information about what is that, like life cycle of Fasciola hepatica. Now you can see what I am discussed to you, that is about the only given no. Encapsulated embryo, don't have any embryo, does not develop into the further uterus of the host. It is ejected out with the faces of the primary host like sheep or human being. The suitable condition is requiring here 60% moisture and 20 to 25 degrees C temperature. Encapsulated embryo, that means what is that, is a differentiated into Meracidium larva. This is about the first larva. Okay, first larva. This Meracidium larva will swims in the water and free living in nature now. Meracidium larva, it is interact with the digestive glands of the snail and develops into second larva, we call it as Sporocyst larva. This is a very important point student. First Meracidium larva followed by Sporocyst larva. Sporocyst larva, how it is formed? Meracidium larva interact with the digestive glands of the snail and develop into Sporocyst larva. Next point student. Next, Sporocyst larva moves in the tissues of the host, okay, and absorbing nutrition from it. And Sporocyst larva produce how many? 5 to 8 radial larva. This is a radial larva. What is this? This is the third larva. This is about the third larva. Now that radial larva differentiated into another larva is called the fourth larva is called Cercaria larva. This Cercaria larva maintain the temperature, what is the student? 9 to 26 degrees C temperature. This temperature only favors emergency of the Cercaria larva from the snail. Cercaria larva, it is a swims in the surrounding water and becomes inactive to form another larva is called as a fifth larva is called Metacercarian larva. Metacercarian larva, it is an enclosed here when the primary host feeds on grasses, enters into the body, establishes itself the liver and become mature. So this is about the life cycle of what is that? Fasciola hepatica. Again I will tell you, you can see student, first of all, this is a first diagram you can see, this one now. What about this one is, they don't have any proper embryonated eggs of Fasciola hepatica, will be interact with the fecal matter of the host like ruminants or human being. Fine. So the next, another second one you can see, this eggs is becomes embryonated in the water. Here it maintains some suitable condition. What are they? 60% of the moisture and 20 to 25 degrees C temperature. Next, this eggs is become, what is that? Become into first larva, that is called the Meracidia larva. This Meracidia larva will interact the digestive glands of the snail and it is a differentiated into another larva is called sporocyst larva. That is a third larva. This sporocyst larva, it is a depend on the tissues of the snail for the purpose of it is obtaining the nutrition from it, and differentiated into 2 to 8 or 5 to 8 radial larval form. This radial larval form developed into the fourth larva called as Cercaria larva. This Cercaria larva, it is differentiated into immature form. It is called the, what is that? Here is Metacercarian larva. Here the Cercarian larva maintaining the temperature around 9 to 22 degrees C. This Cercarian larva, it is a free swimming Cercarian ancestor on the aquatic vegetation, and Metacercarian larva will be developed here, and that will be developed into the host, and finally what is that? The liver fluke will be adult liver fluke will be developed in the hepatic biliary duct. So students, so this is about the today's importance about the today's class, what we discussed now about features of a platyhelminthes. At the same time, very important point, that is that the life cycle of the Fasciola hepatica. In the next class, I am going to teach you there is a life cycle of the Taenia solium. Thank you students.